Yes, at the moment.
Yeah.
Has anybody got the definitive time? I've got two different times on my different machines.
1931.
31. Right. Okay, then let's get going. So, welcome all to this meeting of the Parish Council. I need to make a correction. I failed when I was drawing up the agenda. I failed to put in an open forum, which would normally appear at item number 4 after the declarations of interest. So we'll do that. Introduce an item in the order. Item number 1 is to Councillor Burkill proposing to appoint Councillor Brereton to be the minute taker.
Yes, Chairman, I will do that.
Okay, I will second that. Any votes? I will vote for. Any votes against?
No.
You have to shout if you want, well, speak if you want to attract my attention. It's very difficult for me personally with my eyesight to see people raising their hands. So you'll need to make an audible connection with me.
Okay.
Anybody voting against? I'll take that as no. So the motion is carried. Councillor Brereton, you're taking minutes. Item number 2, to receive any apologies for absence and requests for dispensation. Any apologies from anybody? No. Request for dispensation. Councillor Thompson, Jean Thompson, has asked for permission to be absent from meetings where the matter of her disqualification or otherwise is discussed. So I
Is that on the agenda?
accept that. Yes, item 2 on the agenda. So I accept that. Do I have a seconder for that?
Yeah, I'll second that, Chairman.
Okay. Any against?
I am.
You're against. Okay, what do you want to say?
It's a matter of fact that the disqualification stands, so I don't see why we're having it.
Chair, can I just point out that's a false matter of fact. It hasn't been proved by rule of law.
Correct in both cases, Councillor Brereton.
No.
For either side.
No. No.
Can you address everything through the chair, please?
Yes. Can we not have an actual argument about it? There isn't a point of discussion. The point is, do we vote for or not to allow Councillor Thompson to have the dispensation?
I'm in favour.
You're in favour.
I'm in favour.
I'm against.
I'm also in favour.
I'm against.
Any other councillor?
I'm against, if you heard that.
Yes, I did, yes.
Yes.
That's 3 to 1 against.
3 to 1 for.
No.
Sorry,
Next
3 to
item,
1.
Chairman.
I'm so sorry, yes. Okay. Open forum now, which as I said, I failed to include in the agenda, but which we ought to do. Anybody have any comments on the items that are on the agenda? Any member of the public that is to say?
Can you whiteboard those, Mr. Chairman?
I don't know how to.
Well, it's fairly simple.
Well, I don't know how to. Do you not have a copy of the agenda?
No?
Well, I can't help you, I'm afraid.
Well, have you got a copy in front of you?
I've got a typed copy.
So can you not distribute that?
Well, that's what the notice boards are for. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
But are you not able?
Put it up in front of the screen. I don't think that helps very much, does it?
Well, do you not have a copy on screen or on your computer that you can share
No.
with the meeting?
Not on this computer now.
Well, it's a pretty poor show then, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so. It's the way we've normally organised these things.
And how many meetings have you organised then, if you normally organise them?
I say this is how these meetings are normally organised. We don't normally have things available on screen for people to see, other than each other's lovely faces.
So what you're saying is you've not done any of these meetings before?
I don't think the parish council has done any of these meetings before.
Why not?
Sorry. I'll move on to the next. Does anybody have anything?
No, excuse me, I asked the question, why hasn't the council had any meetings?
It's not on the agenda, so you cannot understand.
Why hasn't the council? I don't have an answer that will take less than about an hour. I don't think.
Good question, though, isn't it?
Okay, we'll move on to the agenda then.
Okay.
Right, I've got a question.
Yeah,
Yes, open for questions, please.
Mr. Murdoch wants to ask a question, Jeff.
Brian, the agenda looks to make illegal the meeting of the 10th of December. That meeting, as I recall, passed a budget and a precept, and there doesn't seem to be an agenda item for a new budget or precept. So on the basis that there won't be another meeting till February, even if these are brought forward then, it looks as if we'll be without what you would consider to be an approved budget and precept going into at least the middle of February. Is that an appropriate method for the council to proceed? Maybe the chair of finance could answer that one.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest.
I can answer that one, Chair.
If you would please.
As will be detailed, we have to take legal advice regards to what happened last month, but there are no concerns over the budget of the precept. We had a great deal of help from Cheshire East, and Cheshire East at this moment in time are putting the wheels in motion for helping us, making sure that we can put a budget in, we can put a precept in, and hopefully by the middle of this month. So that fear, we're working very hard on that, and I'm going to make sure that that is done.
At the middle of January.
Yes, because we've had a deadline for it because of the difficulties we've been facing, and that has been secured. And I will thank Councillor Burkle for his great help in actually achieving that as well. And for the another Cheshire Council who have really helped.
Sorry, can I carry on? Which meeting will that be approved at then?
It will probably have to go out to February. I'll have to talk to the chair on that one once I get clearance from Cheshire East to say, yeah, that's fine, it's all sorted. As I say, I really hope that in the middle of this month we'll have that.
Okay.
Why has there been no fancy meetings thus far?
Because of the difficulties this council has been having, it has not been possible. Okay.
Don't see that.
Can I follow with another question, please? There are various important issues in the August meeting, which you were seeking to have disqualified as well, which were deferred, including the payment of accounts, the accounting statement, the report of the internal auditor, review of insurance provision, approve a disaster management plan and the emergency fund. These were all deferred. They again don't seem to have been brought back to the present meeting, so presumably they're all in limbo. Is that acceptable, or does that leave the council vulnerable to failing to comply with the requirements of regulations?
I don't believe it means that we are failing to comply with regulations, but we are stuck in a legal limbo.
So the report of the internal auditor doesn't have to be accepted?
But the internal auditors are well aware of the situation.
Yes, a limbo of your own making, by the way.
No, that's just your opinion.
Right, though.
Okay. The agenda of the previous meeting, which was cancelled at short notice, was looking to declare illegal resolutions of the September, October and November meetings.
Can we stick to this? Can we stick to this agenda?
The present agenda doesn't have the same resolutions. So does that imply that the resolutions from those meetings are now agreed to be valid?
Can we stick to this agenda? The item.
Yes, I'm talking
Out of interest, Chairman, in the standing orders, section 8, questions, part B, any question can be asked. It isn't on the agenda. I know that's what you always say it is, but it isn't actually by your standing orders. These questions are all relevant and appropriate.
This is about the agenda anyway, because the agenda is looking to disqualify the meeting of the 10th of December. What I'm asking is, you're also looking to disqualify the meetings, the previous meetings and the resolutions passed on those meetings? Or are they now accepted as being valid resolutions?
The agenda is what it is.
So you're not seeking to disqualify those?
The agenda is what it is.
What does
That's
that
the
mean?
question.
So are you seeking to disqualify those meetings or not? And if not, can the clerk put
the agenda in front of us?
with the agenda in
Section 8B, any question can be asked.
Okay.
Could the minutes of those meetings, which you're not now seeking to disqualify, be published on the website, please?
They would have to be approved meeting minutes first, wouldn't they?
I'm not sure. If you know, that leaves them in limbo, doesn't it? Are you saying they're illegal or invalid, or are you saying they're not illegal, invalid, because resolutions were passed?
I'm going to move on to the business.
May I ask a question before, or make a comment before then, please, Chair?
As long as it's very brief, we're out of time already.
Yeah, it relates to the agenda, the first line of which seems to imply that the Parish Council has a full complement of 7 councillors. But I would like to read a paragraph from a letter which was sent to the monitoring officer to all parish councillors. It's a letter that was not marked confidential, and I believe is therefore in the public domain. Councillors are all aware there has been no valid challenge upheld by a court in declaration of vacancy as notified to the returning officer. It is therefore probable that any councillor acting on the purported belief that there is no vacancy may be engaging in misconduct and acting willfully or being recklessly indifferent to that fact. Perhaps you would comment on that, Chair.
I'm going to stop you there, Roger. This is going to take far too long as far as dealing with this agenda is concerned. By all means, write to me about it and we'll bring it up at a future agenda if that's relevant.
Surprise, surprise.
Can I ask one more about the agenda? That, as far as I can see, there's nothing in the agenda which actually benefits the residents of Handforth. All the agenda items are relating to the administration of the parish council. Nothing about actually doing anything for the people of Handforth. Would you agree?
Yes.
Nothing since May of 19, I suspect, we can add to that.
Okay.
Is that a yes or no?
We should close the open forum and move on to item marked 5 on the agenda. Formally declare the meeting of the 10th of December not legal, invalid and not legal. Councillor Brewerton is the mover of this one.
Okay. I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can, but as clearly as I can. Again, formal legal advice has been taken from counsel, as in our barrister, and he, on the evidence that was given to him, it was clear evidence. That's come with 3 reasons as to why the 2 meetings in December on the 10th of the 10th were not lawful. I'm going to give those 3 reasons now. Reason 1, this is the most important one. As we know, Schedule 12, Paragraph 3 requires, the Local Government Act 1972 requires a requisition to be sent to the chair of the council, formally requesting the chair to call said extraordinary meeting. We have provided copies of emails between Councillors Tolmer and Moore, And council has thoroughly legally reviewed these in light of the law, and in his qualified opinion, none of these emails qualify as a legally acceptable requisition. Furthermore, and he notes this, the last line in the email, the 25th of November 2020, noting a request for a response within 7 days is, and these his words, is to be viewed as a sonophoric play on words. Reason 2. A clerk was asked, or somebody was asked to undertake the role I'm undertaking now. That's fine. Go and get somebody in to do that. That's not a problem. However, what was missed is where this is done, the chair must be notified. Now, the chair has the right to say yes or no, and I'm sure the chair would have liked to have that opportunity. Council says he's very, very concerned that this was not done, and there's clear evidence that this was, I don't know whether it was, in his words, accidentally or purposefully done, but it was done. He also notes that that person should have been voted into their position at the beginning of each meeting in order for each meeting to be lawful, legally valid. This did not happen. The final reason is there was an illegal ejection of councillors. Councillors commented on this, that the person, do you mind? Could you mute that person, please, Chair?
I'll do it myself, no problem.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
I will do if it happens again.
Councillors were illegally ejected from this meeting by the person who is in the position of the clerk. That person has no legal or lawful right to do this. The only person who has the right to eject councillors from a meeting or any member of the public is the chair. Therefore, and this is council's word, therefore, because of this illegal conduct, that nullified and invalidates the meetings in the eyes of the law and on the rule of law. That's the advice of council.
Can we have a copy of that, please?
Yeah, and his name.
Now, can I just actually point out this? I knew that question was going to come. On top of that, that's qualified by a legal advice privilege. So the answer to that question is a firm no, it remains in my possession. And if I get any emails to that front, council has told me to state, it will be met with force in the form of a non-molestation order.
That's good.
If you think I'm joking, try it. That's
At the meeting, you said.
That's a human rights section I would pay good money to see.
Yeah. At that meeting, you said that you had already served the writ on the public. Can you tell us where it's up to?
The public have had their say already. We're now in a meeting where the councillors are debating.
Members of the public are no longer speak. Does any councillor wish to support?
Yes. No, I don't wish to support it. May I speak, Chair, please?
Does any councillor wish to support?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't been allowed to speak, Chairman.
You will be. I'm just trying to take things in order.
Support what?
The motion.
Well, we are having a debate, allegedly. That would be
Yes, and I'm trying to have it in an orderly fashion. So to do that, I'm asking councillors who want to support the motion first. Then I'll ask councillors who wish to object to the motion.
Very well.
So the question is, does Councillor Birkhill wish to support the motion?
Yes, Chairman, I'll support that.
Okay. I'm
Chair,
also in
only a
support
court of law can declare a meeting illegal. I think the motion should be adjusted.
But a member of the public,
The phrase and or illegal removed.
Member of the public. It's legally wrong.
now if Councillor
No,
Moore wants
he's
to
not.
speak, if Councillor Moore wants to speak, I think it's her turn now, Chairman.
I can't hear you, Chairman, but I'm assuming you're allowing me to speak, so I will do so. Please stop me if that is incorrect. First of all, Councillor Burton, I'm sorry, I don't think it's very... the position of a councillor should not be to threaten members of the public, and I would hope you would withdraw that remark. Secondly, well, there you are then, let it stand. Secondly, I refute the allegations about the meeting being called illegal. illegally, because the only people that can call a meeting illegal is the High Court. End of, full stop. Yes, it is, and it's no use just shaking your head, Councillor Brereton. I'm afraid I think a bit more about the law than you do. You're not a practicing solicitor anymore.
Oh, I am now. Chair, can I just question with Councillor Moore, please?
Secondly, I'm speaking, Councillor Brereton, if you don't mind. Secondly, all that meeting was perfectly legal. Jackie Weaver, as you well know, was asked to clerk the meeting, and that was because it was an extraordinary meeting. The behaviours of 3 councillors was such that you were disrupting and not allowing the meeting to go forward, and that was why that happened. But let's not discuss that. Yes, still you're shaking your head, Councillor Brereton. Councillor Jackie Weaver, chaired, sorry, she didn't chair it, she clerked it, and she did a very good job of clerking it. The chairman was asked if he wished to chair the meeting, and he refused because he said the meeting was illegal for all sorts of reasons. Had you all thought that the meeting was illegal, you should have brought those qualms to the meeting prior, not during the meeting. Once the meeting is open, you cannot do that. So I am disputing those things that you are saying, and I would like to ask the 3 councillors what they prepare to do about the approval of the £5,000 grant to Hope Central. Sorry, it's not a grant, a donation to Hope Central, because this council has done absolutely nothing for the parishioners here, nothing at all. The only people who've done any work have been Ward Councillor Julie Smith, myself, John Smith and Cynthia Sampson. Now, the £5,000 was, sorry, Chair, I still can't hear you. Could you unmute yourself?
Ryan, you're muted.
I would like to know what you propose to do about that £5,000, because that is very much needed in this parish. We have an awful lot of people who are in a great deal of what's the word? Anguish, I think is the word to use. And I think that money would be very well spent. That's all I wish to say. Thank you.
Brian, you are muted. Brian, you are muted.
Is that any better?
Probably will be, we'll see.
Okay. Some of the points that Councillor Moore made are not relevant to the item that's on the agenda.
Can I just say you're not following the agenda. You've not done the minutes from the 27th of August.
Will be.
But they should have been before the first agenda item if you're following the agenda.
I'll actually change it.
Oh, and so have you changed it?
Yes, I thought that.
Yeah, we already.
And was that proposed?
Don't need to propose it, the chair can change it.
Oh, right.
If the chair receives the request, he can, and he's received the request.
Oh, okay.
Just looking at the time, Chair, can we put this to vote?
Yes, I think we've heard all.
I'm not getting an answer to my £5,000 then.
It's not on the agenda.
You are seeking to...
I totally agree. I totally agree with you about the £5,000, but it ain't on the agenda for this evening.
It's part of what you're trying to rescind.
So can we have a vote? Councillor Brereton, you're proposing, are you?
Yeah, and I vote in favour of the motion.
Yes, I'll vote.
Councillor Burkill?
I vote in favour.
Councillor Moore, your vote?
I obviously vote against.
Sorry? Sorry, what?
She said against.
Against, Brian, against.
Right. Okay, I'm voting in favour. Right. Item 5 on the agenda is
These minutes.
formally declare Sorry, I beg your pardon. Item 4 on the agenda, which is actually the 5th item in sequence, to approve and sign the minutes from the Parish Council meeting of the 27th of August. Just everybody's got their copies. Anybody got any corrections?
We have to vote that through, Chairman, or is that approved?
May I say something, Chairman, please? I will be voting against accepting these minutes, as I do not believe they are a true reflection of the meeting that took place.
Okay. Do you want to correct any particular wording, or do you want to? Is your objection more general? Okay.
Chairman,
I want to propose that they're a true record of the meeting. Anybody else?
I'll second that, Chair.
Yep.
Okay. All in favour?
Yes.
Me?
I'll vote.
Against?
I'm against.
Councillor Moore, I presume?
I'm against.
If it's fine by you, Chair, I have got a very important appointment to get to. If it's okay, if I could duck off, just let me know how the final one goes so I can prepare the minutes.
Seriously?
With you, Chair?
Seriously? You're not going to stay and finish clerking the meeting?
No, because I've got a very important meeting to attend to now.
Who's more important than the parish council?
Yes. Good evening,
Oh,
Chair.
Well, that's nice to know. Priorities.
Right.
Absolute shambles.
We have one final item on the agenda, which is to choose which accessibility statement is to apply to documents supplied by the council to the website manager. I'll just explain that a little more for the benefit of the public who won't have seen the backing paper. When we supply documents to go onto the website, it's been traditional for us, and for many councils indeed, to supply them as in the form of PDF documents. That's no longer acceptable because those documents aren't easily manipulated, if that's the right word, on small devices like tablets and mobile phones and so on. So we are now required to provide them in doc format, or docx to be more precise. So basically so that people can squeeze them to the shape of the devices that they're looking at. And the only matter that we have to decide is whether how we will deal with documents that are dated between September 2018 and more or less today's date. If they are documents that have been scanned in or handwritten. Now, I don't think there are any that apply. So I don't think which of the two possible formats available to us, I don't think either of those matter. But we have to choose one, and I'm proposing that we choose option A, which is on the backing paper available to councillors. In other words, it's a bit of a non sequitur. We don't have any choice about adapting to this new format. It's just a question of which sort of minor variation of it we choose. Does any councillor have any issue about either of those?
Please, if I might come in on this one. Is this part of the bigger accessibility statement? Because there are an awful lot of things that we've not covered here. We should be covering measures to support accessibility, conformance status, compatibility, what to do if you can't access, using the website, technical information, issues with PDFs. and reporting problems, and we should be dealing with a lot of websites put on the BBC's accessibility pages to show people how they can use the website and tools that are available to them to do so. So my question is there a bigger statement? Because this certainly does not cover an accessibility statement that any way, shape or form conforms to the government regulations.
This was what was presented to me by the website manager.
Well, I'm very surprised because I would have thought the webmaster would have known. And if you look on the internet, there's there's lots of sites to be fair, but there's a site that advises parish councils. But I've looked at the accessibility statement for about 10 parish councils, and they all, I've just printed one off, and they all run to 2 pages. And as I say, they cover things like, as I said before. So I really think this doesn't, I can tell you for a fact, it does not comply with the information, with the act that was brought in 2018. So if we could please get together, perhaps have a working group, I would be very happy to put together a proper accessibility statement, make the council legal. It's not rocket science.
Can I suggest you put a few thoughts together and send those to the website manager for his...
I certainly can, yes, no problem at all.
As a kick-off, he might have a quick answer to save you and all the rest of us a lot of time on it if there is a quick answer.
So I do believe at this point it would be pointless to have a vote on this because this really isn't the accessibility statement, but it just needs to be done very quickly.
Well, I do think we ought to agree with it because he said to me this is a deadline that we should stick to. So I'm prepared to accept his view on that whilst we think about anything else we might do, would be my view on it.
Well, I can put together something in a few days.
So I propose that we adopt that statement as a preliminary step at least.
Which I think you've misinterpreted, by the way.
Barry, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Chairman.
Okay.
You're going for option A, are you?
I don't think it makes any difference whether we go for A or B as long as we go for something.
Okay. It does actually. I think you've got it wrong. Can you explain the difference between A and B for me?
Barry, are you proposing? Are you seconding?
What am I seconding, Chairman?
Okay.
Are you are you proposing A or B? Are you proposing A or?
I'm proposing A.
Okay.
Can I ask why?
I don't agree with that.
Councillor Moore?
I'm voting against this because it's not an accessibility statement. If this is your accessibility statement,
I don't want to know why. I just want to know what your vote is. You're voting against.
I'm voting against. Obviously, you're not interested in any other councillors other than Brewerton and Birkhill.
So that's 2-1 in favour. I'll advise Councillor Burton. Okay, thank you, everybody.
I might say this, I think that's disgraceful, Chairman, and I sincerely hope that if you get taken to court, you'll be taking the can for that.
Chairman, might I ask where the recordings will be available for this meeting?
He's gone.